your hand if you've seen the movie Monster House. I haven't, but there is a quote from the character Horace Nevercracker. The quote is, "Get off my lawn." Thank you for joining me on day 8 of the Karen Reed trial, and this is an episode of Just Legal History. After a bit of a slow day yesterday, things picked up today a bit, with 2 people testifying, and that was the husband and wife Chris and Julie Albert. Chris is one of the Albert brothers, and Julie is his wife. Chris joined the group at the Waterfall Bar, but did not go to his brother Brian's home that night. He said that he walked home, went to bed, and then within a few minutes his son Colin came in and said he was home. The reason that it's important to the defense is that Colin was at the Brian Albert's house for some of the night, and the question was when he got home. Let's look at the exchange.
Pause it. Oh, there we go. My co-counsel is much better at this than I am. Do you know who that person is who's leaving the bar at this point at 12:13 and 43 a.m.?
Christina, it might be better without that spotlight.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
That's fine.
Yeah. I believe it's me.
Continue, please. Okay. You can take that off the screen. So, having now viewed that video with the timestamp of 12:13 and about 43 seconds or so, does that refresh your memory as to when you left the waterfall?
Yes.
That would mean it would have been impossible for you to get home to Maple Street by 12:05 or 12:10, correct?
Correct.
Now, it was about maybe a 7-minute walk home. Would you agree with me?
From Waterfall to Maple? No, I said 7 minutes from D&E to Waterfall. Waterfall to Maple's probably less than 5 minutes.
So it's your testimony that D&E is closer to the waterfall than the waterfall is to Maple Street?
So we can see that Yannetti is trying to say that Colin could have arrived home at any time. Besides the question if Colin got home in time, was there a feud between Chris and Julie and John O'Keefe? And guess what the beef is supposed to be? Walking across the lawn. And hence the reference to the Monster House movie, where the character says, "Get off my lawn." Chris even talked about how they referred to John as "Get off my lawn guy." So let's look at another clip regarding this.
And offer those a fair and accurate representation of the photos that you took?
Yeah.
All right. I would offer those, Your Honor.
All right, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
And with the court's permission, may they be published for the jury?
Okay.
With regard to that first photo, is that, well, first of all, whose house is that in the background?
That's John's.
And that is you on the right and your wife Julie on the left?
Correct.
We have the second photo, please. Okay. That is also John's house in the background there?
Correct.
And again, that's you on the right and Julie on the left, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we can take that photo now. Now, would you agree with me that those photos give some context to the text that you sent him on January 28th when you were trying to get him to come out and you threatened to, quote, fuck up his lawn if he didn't come out that night?
What do you mean give context to?
Well, in other words, here you are texting him photos of you and your wife on his lawn, correct?
Yes.
And that's a common theme that explains the January 28th text where you were threatening to fuck up his lawn, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay. I just have one more area that I want to cover with you, sir. You previously confirmed that when you walked in your door on January 29th of 2022, after coming home from the waterfall, your son Colin was not home, correct?
That's correct.
At that time, you had no personal knowledge of where he had been that night, correct?
That's correct.
Since that time, you know that he was at your brother Brian's house that night, Brian Albert.
That's correct.
Your old home, correct?
Where I grew up, yep.
And you knew that address to be 34 Fairview Road.
Old, not Colin, who was the one John got mad at for walking across his lawn. Will the jury buy that the other possible motive is payback for a brother walking across the lawn? So next up was testimony from Chris's wife, Julie. She didn't go to the bar that night, and she said she was at home. She gave a timeline that was close to Chris's earlier statement, that Chris came home shortly after midnight and went to bed, and then Colin peeked his head in the door. She said she doesn't go to bed until her kids are back home. But then came a different round of questioning about her relationship with the wife of Michael Proctor. Michael Proctor worked for the Massachusetts State Police and became the lead investigator in the O'Keefe murder. Chris and Julie were good friends with him and his wife. Here is an exchange about how close they were.
I don't recall.
Were you using Courtney Proctor as an intermediary to communicate with Michael Proctor about this case?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No, I was not.
Are you aware that between February 1st of 2022 and September 6th of 2022, you and Courtney Proctor spoke by phone 67 times?
Objection.
Were you aware of that?
No, I don't know the exact count.
Do you deny that you spoke 67 times?
So over a several month period, there were 67 calls between Julie and Michael Proctor's wife. Yanati was arguing that Julie was using her friendship with the wife to get relevant information about the investigation of his client, Karen. He is saying that this is an inappropriate relationship